Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
I'm Serenity and welcome to the first episode of RealTea. I want to introduce y'all to my girl Nia.
Hey. I'm Nia. I am a tech worker, marketing girl. So excited to be talking to Serenity about real estate and learning some more, and just creating this safe space community for young professionals.
Yes, we are really here to spill the tea on just about anything that makes sense.
Yes.
We are women, we are young women, we are brown women, and it's a lot that we have to talk about. You know, like, it's a lot that we just deal with day to day and think other people aren't going through it.
Right.
Until we link up and we're like, girl, you going through that too? And it's
Right.
like, girl, yes. So I'm very excited for that to be a piece of our puzzle, and I'm glad that y'all are here in the space with us to be a part of that. And the way we break it down here is we started off with a little bit of life lately.
Right. So that's like real life, conversations, topics, things that are relatable not only to me and Serenity, but stuff that we feel like everybody can relate to. So, yeah.
Yes. And then we also go into work be like.
Work be like.
Because y'all know what that means. That's enough said. Work be like.
Be working.
Lord. And then our final piece is spill the tea. And that's where we kind of dive into real estate tips, tech tips, whatever it is that makes sense for the conversation.
Right.
And today we definitely gonna dive into some really cool things that's happening within real estate and how to build that generational wealth.
Yeah.
So
I'm
y'all
excited.
ready?
Yeah, I'm excited to learn.
Me too, girl. Life lately. Today we want to talk about imposter syndrome.
So the definition of imposter syndrome is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills.
And then, us terms, imposter syndrome is hopping on the internet, going to work, and just feeling like you don't belong and that you're doing something wrong because it's not like how somebody else is choosing to do it.
Right.
So you're daily, like, you're always questioning yourself. It's just like, damn, like, am I doing this right? Well, she has a nicer body than me, but is that like, is something wrong with my body?
With this podcast specifically, like, this is a brand new experience or opportunity for me to kind of put myself out there and, be in front of an audience and speak. And, I kind of got in my head a little bit before we started doing this. Just what makes me qualified or good enough or smart enough to be in front of people and talk about stuff like I know what I'm talking about. And then I had to stop myself and really think about it I'm here because I'm supposed to be here and I deserve to be here. And everybody got podcasts right now. So I'm like, I'm smart enough. I'm well-spoken. I think I'm good enough to do the same thing and, do it my own way. So sometimes you just have to get out of your own way, get out of your head and, focus on where you are exactly and just, let that be your motivation.
No, for real. And I relate too. And it's actually in relation to the podcast too. And my boyfriend really be on me about it. He was like, you should have did this a year ago. Like, why do you always feel like you need help? Why do you always feel like you need somebody else to step in to do something you know that you cold at? So in a sense, I'm getting the validation from him and from other people, right, who have seen me do radio, who have seen me work in this industry. But now it's just like, well, I don't want to do it by myself. I don't feel like I could do it. I don't feel like people will like it. And then just kind of limiting myself to my fullest capabilities. And it's a very hard situation to kind of balance, in my opinion. I don't know. It's not that easy to balance it. It's it's happening, but you're also just like, well, how do I fight it? Because it's making me depressed. It's making me want to eat 3 times in the evening, not the day, in the evening. We eat dinner, then we eat dinner part 2, which might be snack size. Then you eat dinner part 3, which is your dessert, plus maybe a little bit of what you ate for dinner part 1. So you just sitting there eating.
Not 3-part dinners.
Girl.
I feel you though. Sometimes it be like that.
Then your gut is sitting there hanging like, sis.
What are you doing?
Sis. The gym is downstairs.
What are you doing?
The food not
but
that good.
it's like when you reach certain levels of success, especially, I don't know about you, but as I've like started to, you know, enter my 30s, my late 20s, and just like, you know, growing more in my career and just being more confident and, you know, the person that I am and all of those, that, you know, that kind of stuff, it's still like you struggle with like, am I really supposed to be here? Like, do I deserve to be here? But I think for me, as far as like just coping with that and like being able to move on from that, I always try to remember that like I'm not the only person that's going through the same thing. Like we all experience these types of emotions and these types of feelings. So I think that thought process is, you know, what keeps me grounded and, you know, helps me like get out of that like negative thinking.
Yeah, girl, be the unicorn in the room. That's really,
and that's okay.
That's the thing. Out. Like learn to stand out, stand proud, be unique in your approach. And I had to relearn what that meant for me because I started saying that years ago, right? Because I felt like I wasn't cool enough and I was just down myself so much. Like, why don't people like me the way that they like these other people? And then I find myself falling into the same lane as them. And then I created this whole identity like I'm the unicorn. Clearly I'm different. Clearly I don't do stuff like nobody else, right? And then it became a part of me. So yeah, just remembering to like live in your world. It's your world. Everybody else is truly living in it. And that's okay. Don't mean that you have to close everybody off and think you better than people. Because that happens too sometimes where you do like, oh, I don't want to be around that person. But we have to grow out of that too because we don't know anybody's story.
So I had a question for you. Speaking of imposter syndrome and kind of like the whole work be like, you know, segment, have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome like in a professional setting? Because I know I have. So can you kind of speak to that a little bit? Like, you know, as an entrepreneur?
Living in Atlanta as a realtor, Lord.
Oh, yeah, girl.
This is Fashion City. This Sin City, Fashion City,
Black Hollywood.
Girl City, Black Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I came here, like, I think I'm a pretty girl and, like, a sexy woman and stuff like that, right? So it's like...
You're a baddie, sis.
No, thanks. Cool. But coming into a place like Atlanta, the feeling included in the entrepreneurial world of real estate, at least in my profession, it's probably like that in yours too, but it's just like, everybody's so bad. Like, even how my hair is kind of like the messy flow right now, them girls would be like, you need to silk it down, make it bob, make it do the little shake or whatever.
So you think out here it was like more about appearance?
Girl, it's about appearance. It is a sex sales city.
Wow. In real estate?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Because the thing is, like, the girls that you see in real estate, Atlanta is a social media based place. Like, it really is, because this is the black version of Hollywood. So everybody is wanting to be a C-list celebrity, B-list celebrity of some sort because they're not A-list.
That was shade.
Okay, shade given. It's shade given. But what I'm saying is, that's the truth of it. This is a list city, right? So I don't feel like I've been to the events with the top realtors and the business and all of them, and I love them. I love how they carry themselves, but that's not me. So I definitely deal with it in the workplace of just like, do I have to be that sexy to close a deal? And that's not okay to me because I like using my brain. Like, I like being smart. I like helping people close deals, and I like people to want me at their family picnics. It's definitely dealt with, you know, because sometimes I just feel like my thought process isn't enough, which is why I haven't pushed to do real estate as much here as I do. I'm a top producer in Chicago.
Right.
But here I'm just nervous. You know, I'm scared to put myself out there because I just don't feel like I'm good enough.
And that's real. That's real. That's vulnerable. That's why we're here, to talk about our vulnerabilities and get it out. So I really appreciate you for saying that.
But what about you? Like, diversity and inclusion is like such a big deal in general in the workplace. But like, how is it affecting you in like tech world and like remote tech?
Well, I'm glad you kind of like talked about like, you know, like the gender kind of differences or like nuances as being a woman within real estate, because I kind of feel like, you know, we deal with that throughout, you know, all different types of professions, not just, you know, in real estate. And And, you know, not just with being a woman, but being a Black woman or a woman of color. I think for me, it's like, I know that we have come such a long way because I look at my life and I look at like the women in my life who are all, you know, majority college educated and just very, you know, successful Black women. So I know like we've come such a long way, but at work, it's like I look around and I'm one of 3 Black women on my marketing team of about 30. So it's still just like, okay, there's some work that needs to be done.
So do you think it matter though if it's like Indian, Asian, Indian, Asian, you know, is it diverse in that class? Because how does that feel? Because that's a part of the whole quote unquote diversity and inclusion thing they do.
Right.
It's not just about making sure African Americans are comfortable. It's about making sure every type of race of people is comfortable. And to be honest, I don't know how fair that is.
Right.
When we're still at the bottom of the totem pole of all of that. Like, oh, okay, so we'll make sure y'all good, but because we're making sure y'all good, we're gonna make sure other people good too. And it's like, but what about us?
You know, I think it's like, I get why people kind of like group us all together. Like, what do they say? BIPOC, like, what is it? Black, Indigenous. I can't think all of the, you know, the terms of the acronym.
BIPOC.
Yeah, BIPOC.
Yeah.
I get why people like create those kind of like easy, like, you know, ways to put people in groups. But I think that it's a little bit like minimalistic, or like it like minimizes people and like who they are, and, you know, like the nuances between our different cultures. So for me, I'm a Black woman, so I can't speak for anybody outside of, you know, who I am and how I identify. So, I feel like even though there are like other women of color or people of color like on my marketing team, not that many, but you know, it's a couple more. I can only look at like the Black side of that because I am Black, and I still like, I see, you know, an issue with, you know, being one of 3.
What's funny, and I know y'all probably seen this too, the Eben,
the hair product,
girl, and I got that lace spray in the house. Like,
I love say edge control. The edge control is on point,
but we gotta stop now. And
why?
So there's a young lady who was your same situation, basically, like the only Black woman working in their office. And it, you know, it's a Black product. Like, everything that they make is for African Americans. I mean, they might have other products too, but like everything they make is for African Americans. And she worked in this company. She got the job as a marketing person. TikTok went viral, the very first one that she did.
R.I.P. TikTok.
Let's hope that.
No, it's done. It's done, y'all.
We got a few months.
Okay. Anyway,
make your money, honey. We got a few months.
Sorry.
But anyway, this young lady works for she worked for them. They hired her in, and she was the only woman. Like, they were really nice the first day. She posted this video, went viral for the brand, and then they're like deleting comments and stuff, or taking it down or something, saying that it's not the response that they wanted. But the responses were, this is great. Y'all should do more content like this. Something about her being a Black woman in the space or something. And their energy switched. They started ignoring her. They didn't take her on trips that she needed to be on as a person on the marketing team. They were saying outrageous things to her. She did one of them series things, like the one lady who did the 50.
Girl, I wasn't watching all that.
I started, but I'm like, I'm bored.
It's too much. Give me a synopsis.
Can I get the
summary?
Book, you know, like the little read of it or something. But basically, she did one of those little playlist things on it, and she was hurt. Like, she's just like, damn, like, I'm coming into this space. It's Black products ran by non-Black people, and this is y'all treating me exactly how everybody else treat us. Yeah. And did she quit, or did she get fired? She did quit. Yeah, she ended up quitting the job, but that's the same thing. It's like, you come into these spaces and give them what they be asking for. Like, they want to appropriate, and they do it very well. We allow them to do it. We buy the products. My wig is probably from a A company that is Asian-based company
I
or
don't
something.
think I could. If I'm gonna keep it real, I don't think I could give up the edge control either. Like even after hearing this story, I'm sorry, y'all. Not until I can find a replacement.
Damn, sis, I got some good options.
Yeah, you might have to put me on. But
damn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to take it back to the work be life and you know just being Black women within corporate America as a entrepreneur and 9-to-5 girls. You know, like I said, I feel like there has been a lot of progress, and I don't take that away from, anything. And I also feel like I'm so fortunate to like be in the position that I'm in at my job because I don't experience those type of, situations. But I still like look around and I'm just like, we got work to do. So
yeah,
we got work to do still. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like workplaces.
It's hard.
But just being Black is hard.
It's hard.
I get an amen. No, it's very hard being a person of color, especially a brown person of color. Like,
it's hard.
Like, this country was built on us, not for us. Let's just keep it real. But
that's why we got our what?
Tea.
The ha hemp tea.
Oh yeah, y'all feeling good? Y'all hemp.
Keep you nice and relaxed through your work struggles.
Keep you chill, but we're gonna go ahead and start spilling the tea now, right? Like,
oh yeah.
This is actually something that was super cool. Boosie Badass.
Y'all know Boosie Badass.
No loud,
Oh my God.
Boosie has about 80 plus acres of land that he owns. This man built 5 or 6 townhomes. No, 4. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 townhomes for his kids.
He's trying to build a neighborhood for his family.
Boosie Town is what it's called.
Yes.
On his acres. So I was just like, that is just so cool. Like, to take something, a piece of land, and who knows, he probably got it at a really good price.
Right.
It's in Georgia. And land can go so far. Like, you can buy a piece of land and repurpose it over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? But this man took a piece of land, 88 acres to be exact, and is starting to create his own world. Kind of like what Akon did over in Africa. How he has like his own coin and all of that stuff. Now in America, you cannot make his own money. He might be able to make some digital currency, maybe.
Yeah.
But he has Boosie Town,
right.
And he's pushing generational wealth. Now, if you type Boosie on Instagram, you're not going to see anything about this, which is the unfortunate part. You have to literally type Boosie Town. Right. They're kind of gatekeeping it, right? That algorithm, we all use Facebook and Instagram, but that algorithm is gatekeeping the positive about Boosie, but when you do type Boosie Town, you can find out the information.
It's even unfortunate too, because even when I was searching it, the few like articles that I was able to find out about it, it was like little tiny blurbs. I'm like, y'all need to go interview this man, get more information. Like, this is like a really big deal. And, I just wish that our media prioritize like positive stuff like this. But anyways, we bring this topic up because we wanted to kind of talk about like generational wealth and, kind of the importance of it. And, although we in this room may not be able to do something on the scale of what Boosie Badass is doing, it's still, it's important. And I think it's important for us to start having dialogue about, generational wealth in our community, and especially, at this age. So my question for you is, how do you feel about generational wealth as a millennial? When it comes to, let me kind of add another little layer to that. When it comes to home ownership or just, owning property in general. Because I tell you how I feel, but.
Well, I think, I'm going to just be straight about it. Disciplining yourself to be able to own is so important, because you could buy a piece of land for $20,000, $30,000, even if it's not in your hometown. Go to a place where it's like smaller, where you can maybe pay $5,000 or $100. Like, it's so many ways to like put your hand on an asset, and I don't think Black people Or honestly, just black people, really, because Spanish people buy, Indians buy,
Yeah.
Asians buy, everybody buys. People who come into this country, Nigerians buy, like everybody's buying except black Americans because they dive this consumerism into us so heavily with entertainment, having the best shoes, the best purses, like best wigs, all of this stuff. I buy my wigs on Afterpay, bro. Like I'm not.
I know that's right.
I know that's right. I love
I'm not spending $500 on a wig. I might spend $300, but it might take me 4 to 6 weeks to pay for it, right? Because I don't. And the wig is gonna also last me 4 to 6 months, right? So consumerism has taken such a heavy load on us that we have forgotten the importance of creating a lane for ourselves. And it's not even just with buying real estate. It's about like life insurance.
Right.
Like that, I pay $120 a month and my policy is $1 million. And I have retirement in that same policy so that when I'm done at age 60, I can start pulling at that 6% that I'm paying that $120 a month on. Right?
You know what I think it is too, at least, within our community specifically, I think it's a lack of resources. Like, people don't know. I remember being in school and learning about like the Pythagorean theorem.
What we need that for?
What we need that for?
I still don't know why we need it.
Why aren't we taking financial literacy classes? Why aren't we taking like real estate classes at that age so we can really understand, the importance of those things? And I feel like when you come from a family or an environment where, they're already knowledgeable about those things, they can pass that down to their kids. We don't really have that. I'm having to teach myself about all of this stuff at 30. I got a couple, you feel me? Like, I got a couple books and, I meet with the financial planner. It's very expensive. That's another thing. People can't afford stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm blessed to be able to do that, but, I think that's a part of it too, just a lack of resources. So what do you think people who find themselves in those situations, like, what can they do to, like, arm themselves with knowledge? I mean, YouTube, Google, it's free.
I mean, yeah, YouTube, Google, University, cool. Yeah. All of that is cool. But I think starting just with like small increase is a good way to tell yourself that you're ready to change your situation. Like, real estate, becoming a realtor changed so much for me as far as how I see the world. Like, working in radio and stuff was like, oh, I want to be this butterfly and spread good news all the time. And I did it, right? But outside of giving people hope, what else was I doing? I was only pushing hope. I was not pushing real results. Mm-hmm. I'm in a position now to help with results. And those results start with you looking up land, looking at the land bank, looking at foreclosures.com, $40 a month to look at foreclosures all over, seeing, oh, I can afford that right now. Let me go ahead and buy it. Tax liens. Mm-hmm. How long? In Georgia, you only have to... you bid on it for 1 year, and if they don't pay it and redeem it in a year, it's yours. My uncle owns a whole block in Indiana. He bought 8 properties for between $500. The most expensive one was $4,500. Mm-hmm. 8 properties, and he's flipping all of them because Gary, Indiana is this next boom, right? So look at local resources that are made for you to take it at a discount. Like Bobby said, you don't have to start big. Start where you can. Right. And if you and your family going in the house, putting floors down, painting the walls, doing whatever you can when you get money, you may not need to go into a hard money loan. Hey, Mom, I got an extra $2,000 on my taxes. I could do the painting. I could pay somebody to paint the house. Hey, Mom, I got an extra $500. Maybe this could help do the landscaping. Hey, Mom, they got this insurance program that helps people get new roofs, right? Like, just using local resources to really change your story. All you need is one asset to start. Because once you have that one that is yours, right? It's not just like a car. Right. That depreciates in value. Right. You drive the car off the lot, it's done. Like, damn. Right. I spent $50,000 and that was worth $40,000. I like only drove a block. Like that, right? Can I bring it back? No, you can't bring it back. After 7 days, it's done, right? You don't really get much time, but real assets. Real assets like insurance, people be thinking it's a scam. No, it's not. Insurance is not a scam. It's a scam if you don't know how to. Actually, we're the ones finessing insurance if you really think about it, because we paying this, we know we healthy, we know we take care of ourselves. You're going to outlive that policy. And you can use that policy to help benefit you, and think about more than yourself. That'll be the straightforward T tip today. Think about more than yourself when it's about generational wealth. Because you might not think, oh, I ain't having no kids, so it don't matter. What about your sisters or cousins or aunties or anybody else you can deed it over to?
Right.
Or give it or will it to? They can do something. And write in that will, this is what they are to do with this money, because they have to use it as such. This is a trust for their education. This is a trust for ownership, and this is their realtor that they will use at that time. Like, you can literally be so specific in the way that you tell people how to create generational wealth. So I'm out of breath, because clearly I love talking about this stuff, but real estate has really helped me feel valuable to people outside of just being a person that instills hope. Like,
I love that. That.
We gotta. Did you ever tell me what you thought about generational wealth? I think I overdid my part.
But you said a lot that I agree with. I definitely think that, it's important to make yourself, knowledgeable about things. The internet is free. Connecting with communities like this that are free to learn more and, meet people who also share these types of interests is important. And I think for me, the older I get, just realizing that, having the nicest clothes and the nicest shoes and the nicest car, like, that's cool. But, when you really sit up here and think about your net worth, which is your assets compared to your debt, if you in the red, it's like, okay, you got a Gucci purse, but you in the red.
Sell it.
Net worth wise.
Sell that bag.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you could use that money to do something different. And that's where I am in my life right now. And I'm not trying to preach that to anyone, but I think that...
Now, if you find a designer bag for the low, I'm going to grab it.
Sometimes.
Poshmark be having them hits.
I'm not mad at it.
I
love sneakers. I love shoes. So, but I told myself the whole month of April I'm not buying clothes, and so far so good. But yeah, I think it's just about like really buckling down and changing your mindset and realizing that like the older you get, you got to start thinking about the bigger picture. And having real tangible assets, like you mentioned, like houses, insurance, and things like that, is important. So we gotta reframe our thinking, and I don't think it's impossible. So yeah.
Nothing's impossible.
It's not impossible.
Nothing's impossible, y'all. And y'all, like, that's it. That's all. Like, that's the real tea today is really just look at what Boosie did. Be like Boosie in this.
And just in this one instance.
Now, he a little sicko sometimes. We love Boosie, but Boosie's sick. But in this instance, he did something good. Ari did something good when she bought money back that land, right? Like, Cardi B buying houses and land everywhere. Who knows how much real estate Beyonce and them own. And you can buy them in LLCs too, and that's another topic for another day. But,
right.
We're just glad that we can, like, expose it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's time for some tea. So sip, sip.
Sip, sip. Well, I enjoyed that conversation.
Did y'all enjoy it? Did we talk too much? Okay. Because I feel the cotton.
Not the cotton mouth.
Well,
thank you everybody for joining us and for tuning in to our first
debut
recording.
of RealTea.
Cheers again, sis.
Thank y'all so much.
See y'all in 2 weeks.